All right, after a lot of back and forth and finger pointing and claims it was something it wasn't, the PACT Act that was signed into law by President Biden, well, that happened this week. The act is to improve VA benefits for veterans who have had their health impacted by their service. Exposure to toxic chemicals from Agent Orange or burn pits, stuff like that. Well, during all of this theatrical debate in Congress, some of the details and the crucial info about the PACT Act kind of got lost in the political shuffle. How will it impact those it was meant to help directly, even those who don't know they're eligible? Joe Paris visited the VA today in Boise to find out.
Idaho veterans will now have more comprehensive health care options after the passing of the PACT Act. President Biden signed it into law just this week.
Veterans need to know that this is a law that has been signed and it will increase the emphasis and eligibility for veterans who've been exposed to toxic substances.
David Wood is the medical center director at the VA in Boise. He explains the new law expands coverage for vets that may have been exposed to dangerous chemicals in a variety of settings around the world.
So chemicals, radiation, any kind of warfare type agents used within the war. It includes exposure to harsh chemicals, etc.
The law is brand new, so it will take some time for VA operations to get everything into place and up to speed. For now, though, Wood says there are three big things that Idaho veterans should know. For starters, they really want veterans to enroll for health care coverage.
There's going to be assessments done of veterans for chemical exposure, and so we want them to participate in those assessments to see if they have any symptoms or any exposure that might entitle them to veterans benefits.
If veterans think they were exposed to dangerous chemicals that impacted them, they can file a claim with the VA. Care and screenings are also not a one-time thing either.
Every 5 years is basically what's written into the law. And so we don't know all the details about how those screenings are going to occur right now, but we know that it's every 5 years. And I assume it'll be some questions, it may be some blood tests, or some additional types of clinical screening.
The new resources will not cost veterans.
This won't cost the veterans anything. Basically, it is an expansion of care, so it is something that we owe veterans because of their service and because they were potentially exposed to these chemicals when they were in service of their country. And so there is a cost, but not to the veterans.
So what veterans are eligible?
Vietnam, Persian Gulf, and anybody post 9/11 is who are covered. This will really open the door to educating not only veterans, but also our providers here, so that they can do these exams, so they can recognize these kinds of exposures. And primarily it would be things like respiratory illnesses, cancers, those kinds of illnesses.
Investments made in the PACT Act are also designed to help improve care deep into the future.
Part of the funding for this law will be dedicated to research and researching different health conditions that are associated with exposure to these toxic substances and how we can better treat and really identify the impact of these exposures. The feeling is that this is a good thing for veterans, that veterans will benefit from this, that it will be, for many veterans, something that they've been asking for a very long time.
And to be completely honest, there are a lot of questions right now about how all of this is going to work out, the intricacies, and specifically like how will the screenings and care work. If you are a veteran looking for more details on this, I'm going to link a really helpful VA explainer right in the story at ktvb.com. It'll be in blue. You can just click right on it. But there's a lot of conversation about the fight over the act. But the bottom line here, Brian, is that veterans now have more services and expanded care options. You and I were talking during the story. These are men and women that went overseas. They went around the world, literally putting their life on the line. Now they're getting the medical care that so many of them had been begging for years. So this is a really big moment, and they're really encouraging people, even if you've been, I guess, disenchanted with the VA for any reason, reach out to them, apply for care, because they want to help Americans, especially Americans who served our country.
I know we talked about this when it actually passed, but just to reiterate, all four of Idaho's congressional delegation, who get some pretty good health care serving in Congress, voted no on this bill. So, all right, thank you very much, Joe.